I have great pleasure in introducing Tehana de Silva, a graduate in business management and currently managing her family business. She is actively involved in youth ministry. It's her passion to see young people encountering Christ. She has devoted herself to build them up spiritually by conducting Bible studies and interactive meetings. And so I invite Tehana to come and share her testimony right now.
Okay, so firstly, I just want to thank the president and the board for this opportunity. Honestly, I'm really humbled to be standing here because if you knew me back then, I'm quite a shy person. In school, I was very backward to come forward. So this alone is a testimony and a miracle in my eyes and by my standards. So just want to give God glory and thanks. Actually, I have learned a couple of lessons, and I'm just going to try to take 10 minutes to actually pack this up with some of the stories and lessons that I've learned in my journey and in the process. So life to me is actually a blessing, and I truly consider it a gift from God, because almost twice I nearly died, at the age of 6 and then 12 years ago. So 12 years ago, actually, life was leaving my body and I was quite ready to leave. It felt good, but obviously it was not my time to leave, and there was a purpose. And with COVID and all of those things, actually the Lord, made it even more heavier, emphasizing that, there is a purpose and we are not here just to waste our time. So, if you ask me, did life turn out to be the way I wanted it to? I would actually say no. Because, just like anyone, I'm sure I'm not only guilty of this. I've had the, why Lord, when, why me, all of these questions. Because for one, when I was in school, I faced a couple of situations in school that really disappointed me. I was very discouraged. And I remember one year, I was honestly angry with God. For about a month, I would actually go to church with my family, but I would be like a rebellious child, just standing there and unable to move or do anything, absolutely cold. But, in that year, I experienced the Lord very gently and lovingly teach me and mold my heart. I didn't really know what He was doing, but by the end of that year, the Lord did some explosive things in my life. He brought me to a place that actually positioned me for things that I thought I had lost. The Lord Himself actually gave so much more than what I ever expected or asked. He even created exceptions for me. And this was actually, it really blew my mind away. And then I really thought to myself, I behaved very foolishly. This was very, very silly of me. And I decided that year that I would never doubt God and never blame Him and ask Lord why and when. But I decided that even when I don't understand how God is working or moving, that I would trust Him. So when I graduated, that's not the end of the story, of the, why we sometimes feel like the whys and the whens and, why now and things like that. But when I graduated also, I was ready for life to take me on a particular path. But it didn't actually, unfold in that manner. But I have to say, I just want to thank and praise God because, right throughout, He upheld me and He made my family to pray for me. And mostly, the most important thing was all of this was possible and disappointment did not grip my heart because I had a support system. At the age of 6, Jesus touched my life. But as I shared with you, I wanted to share with you a couple of the ups and the downs, right? Because more the downs than the ups, right? Because just because you come to know Jesus doesn't mean you're always on a high, right? There are those, pressures, the challenges, the not easy times. I've cried many nights, right? And my mom is actually witness to that. She would stay up with me and she would keep praying with me. But at the age of 6, Jesus touched me. Jesus chose me and he touched my life. And then at the same time, he touched my mom and my sister. And my mom actually got involved with Women's Aglow. And with that, we too actually joined in and we also got involved with the Women's Aglow Fellowship. So when my mom used to have meetings every month, we would also join in and help out with the worship. And then when we were of age, of course, we started coming for the Women's Aglow conferences. And we've been doing that now for quite a few years. I won't disclose the number of years. I keep you guessing my age, right? So, and we have been really blessed. I have been personally really blessed because when these ladies come and, they share whatever that God is laying on their hearts, plus their testimonies, it really encourages you. You don't feel like, you're alone. It's amazing how the Lord works. He ministers to the young, the old. He doesn't have, age differences. So, you can be someone who's young, but I would encourage you. Those are the places you need to be in, right? And I've been really blessed because when it used to come to the time of ministering, all these ladies would somehow say, Tehana, come here, sit down and I want to pray with you. And they would encourage me and pray with me. And I've been truly blessed by the ladies in the Women's Aglow. So I've been so much blessed that, there's a bunch of ladies, they actually always keep upholding me. And I'm thankful to God for that. And I just want to say, I really love you all. You all are here, some are not here. So just want to say thank you so much because I would never have made it and been where I am unless, I had this support system of so many people praying for my life. So about 2 years ago, actually, I found myself one day on the 16th of November 2020, actually praying this prayer saying, Lord, take me on a new journey. Little did I realize what kind of a journey I'm going to be on. That night, actually, my dad fell ill, and within 24 hours, he went to be with Jesus. So I really didn't know, but it was his time because the Lord was actually preparing me for it. Plus, he had also spoken to my sister through a dream. But, you can never be prepared enough for moments like that. But, I just, suddenly felt as I realized my dad was going to be with Jesus that there was so much that was coming upon me. It overwhelmed me. I was afraid. And at one point, I remember thinking, Dad, I have so many questions to ask you. But, I just suddenly felt the Lord just give me strength and say, you are going to do this. You are going to take it on. And I didn't know, actually, my dad had a chat with my mom and said, I don't think Tehana is going to take on the family business, right? Because I actually left my life open because I've never been this kind of person who has had a 5 to 10 year plan. It's okay if you have one, that's fine. But I have not had that kind of plan. It has been always, God has revealed his plans to me at like the 11th hour. And I just take a dive off, and do whatever he's saying. Sometimes I don't know whether I can even do it. But I just trust him that if he's saying something, then he will equip me to do whatever he's calling me to do. So this was one of those moments. And I told my mom, I said, the Lord is saying, you're going to do this. So I'm going to do this. And, it was not easy. It was very overwhelming. I didn't know where to start. But I remember right after the funeral and coming back, and I couldn't really take a break. But I remember one evening sitting in my office, and there was a huge issue that I'd never faced before, even while my dad was there. And I really didn't know what to do. And I remember sitting in my office alone and thinking, Dad, if you were there, I would have just asked you, what should I do now? And he would have given me some, gems of advice. But he was not there, and I just, began to cry, and I said, Lord, my earthly dad is not here, but you are my heavenly dad. and you will see me through this. I call upon your name to save me. I call upon you to deliver me. And actually, Jesus was absolutely faithful. You know, God has been so good, and in these 2 years, I have experienced Him in such an amazing way that I have no ounce of doubt that God's plans are good. One verse that I've actually clung on to all throughout my life is Jeremiah 29:11. God's plans are to prosper me, not to harm me, to give me a hope and a future. So even when things don't turn out the way I want it to, I have actually clung on to this. When the enemy comes to tell me you can't, it's not going to be, it's never going to happen, this is not it, I just hold on to this. God's plans are good. I don't care how anything looks right now, it's good. That's it. And God, you will do it for me. You know, in the midst of all of this, you know, of losing my dad, the Lord reminded me, and He wanted me to actually share this. So I was actually wanting to play an instrument, and about 2 years I was trying, and I was almost about to get a bass guitar, and twice over it slipped away. So then I thought, no, the Lord must be saying, this is not it, you're not, you know, really cut out for bass. So I let it go. But you know, 4 months after my dad passed away, in the midst of all the work, there was hardly any time, the hours in the day were not enough for me. Suddenly I get a call one fine day, there's a bass guitar, and it suited my budget. So I was not overly exuberant, because now twice over I was disappointed. So I didn't have much expectations about it. But this time around I got the bass guitar. And you know, when I never told anyone that I had actually bought it. I brought it home in a taxi, and while I was on the way, I took a picture and said, I got a bass guitar, right? And I was thinking, God's timing is so amazing. God has humor, right? I was thinking here, I'm like pressed for time. It's not the time to sit and practice a bass guitar, but here is God giving me that guitar. And I have to tell you, you know, He has helped me to get there quite a bit, and it has been just purely Him and Him alone. In this journey, I just want to say, you know, each person's story is unique, and we need to learn to embrace it and own it. Don't try to be someone else. Don't try to, you know, embrace someone else's story. My sister's story was different. Mine is different. And that is something I have come to accept and I cherish, because the learnings, the testimonies, the miracles that we experience are all different. In this area of love and relationships and marriage, I think that is another area that a lot of young people are challenged in today. We are pressured by society. Thankfully, I was never pressured by my family, because they know God's expectations, and you know, His timing is perfect. But I just want to encourage those of you out there, you know, sometimes we begin to behave completely not ourselves, because we just want to fit in. We want to keep up to something that we are not. And God has taught me that His timing is perfect. He has structure, He has order in the way He works. Just let God be the person who writes your love story. Don't be in a hurry, because one thing is, we cannot make another person. Only God can do it. And we need to first, I believe, accept and love whom God has created us to be, so that He can bring two complete whole people into a marriage. So in this area, actually I'm waiting on God. I know that He is faithful to fulfill His promise, and what He has said, He will do. So I just want to encourage all of you out there, if you know Jesus, draw closer to Him. It's that time, it's that season. And you need to, you know, come together with people who are of same like-mindedness, who are like-minded. So I am blessed to have a family that supports me, spiritual brothers and sisters who pray for me, and I've been extremely blessed to have wonderful ladies from the Women's Aglow who, you know, sometimes randomly message, call my mom, call me, pray with me, give me a word. I'm telling you, it's those things that have kept me on track, kept me encouraged to keep going. Because if we only zoom in on our issues, we will not be able to fulfill what God has for us. So I want to encourage you, zoom out of those issues and zoom in to Jesus Christ and who he says you are. God bless you.